Because honestly, that's how they get us. By making it unclear, so that if you're at your voting place, or you're rushing to get your mail-in ballot done and you're like, what does this say? I don't know, just fill it in. So again, this is why I'm trying to help and dive a little deeper. Okay. All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute, I know, but I figured it's no better day than Vote Early Day to make my return. I am a voting holiday partner and I've been sitting on calls for the last few months, and I figured I would share a couple resources and go over the measures that California voters are gonna see on our ballot this time around. So I hope I'm not too late. Let's get started. Number one, make sure, if you haven't already, you need to check your registration status. So I recommend going to turbovote.org, where you can check your registration status or update your registration if needed. Second, what I'm about to use right now to go over these different measures is ballotready.org, where it breaks down, you put in your address and it breaks down every single thing that's going to be on your ballot, from the presidential race to local elections to the measures that you're voting for. Everything's going to be on there, and it's going to have a little blurb about each option that will help you to make a more informed decision versus just filling in bubbles like some of us have done before and are probably planning to do this time, because you may only care about the presidential election, but it's so much deeper than that. Today I'm just going to go over the measures that California voters have to just help you out. If you don't take the time to go to ballotready.org, I'm doing it for you. So pay attention, take notes if needed. I'm just gonna get right into it, okay? So the first measure that comes up for me is Proposition 2. Authorizes bonds for public school and community college facilities. Legislative statute. So this is a yes or no. And so essentially it's going to provide new facilities, improve school health and safety conditions of existing facilities, and also offer classroom upgrades. It also will expand eligibility for financial hardship grants for small and disadvantaged school districts, and provide a higher percentage of state matching funds to schools demonstrating the greatest need. This requires public hearings and performance audits, and appropriates money from general funds to repay bonds. So, yes or no? Essentially, yes is to support authorizing $10 billion, and a no opposes. Proposition 3, constitutional right to marriage, legislative constitutional amendment, also a yes or no. So this amends California Constitution to recognize fundamental right to marry regardless of sex or race. Removes language in California Constitution stating that marriage is only between a man and woman. So again, yes is supporting amending that Constitution to recognize the right to marry regardless of sex or race, and no opposes that. Proposition 4, authorizes bond for safe drinking water, wildfire prevention, and protecting communities and natural forelands from climate risk, legislative statute. So a yes votes to support authorizing the bonds for safe drinking water, wildfire prevention, and protecting communities, and no opposes. Also, for a little further explanation, if you look at Ballot Ready, I don't want to get into it because I don't want this video to be super long, but it does explain a little bit more in depth about why you would vote yes or why you would vote no. So I do also want to include that. Because just because something sounds good or beneficial doesn't necessarily mean that it is if you look into something more deeper. But again, I'm just giving you the basics here. I'm not telling you what to say yes or no to, but just know Ballot Ready does offer a why yes and why no. Okay, number 5, Proposition 5 allows local bonds for affordable housing and public infrastructure with 55% voter approval. Okay, so a yes would be because it gives local voters more control over funding for affordable housing and vital infrastructure. It would be easier for voters to choose what to invest in. Proposition number 6 Eliminates constitutional provision allowing involuntary servitude for incarcerated persons. Legislative constitutional amendment. Amends the California Constitution to remove the current constitutional provision that allows jails and prisons to impose involuntary servitude to punish crime, i.e. forcing incarcerated persons to work, also basically known as slave labor. Prohibits the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation from punishing incarcerated persons for refusing a work assignment, allows incarcerated persons to voluntarily accept work assignments in exchange for credits to reduce their sentences. So that's also yes or no. Proposition 32 raises minimum wage. Initiative statute. California's minimum wage is currently $16 per hour. Crazy. This measure increases that minimum as follows. Employers with 26 or more employees would pay $17 hourly for the remainder of 2024 and $18 hourly beginning on January 1st, 2025. Employers with 25 or fewer employees would pay $17 hourly beginning January 1st, 2025, and $18 hourly beginning January 1st, 2026. Thereafter, as existing law provides, the minimum wage annually adjusts for inflation in addition to the generally applicable minimum wage described above. Current laws establish a higher minimum wage in specified industries. This measure does not amend those laws. Proposition 33 expands local government's authority to enact rent control on residential property.
Current state law, the Costa-Hawkins rental housing.
I'm sorry, I'm realizing that I'm reading but not comprehending, so let me slow it down. So a yes supports repealing and would prohibit the state from limiting the ability of cities and counties to maintain, enact, or expand rent control. A no on this measure opposes it and would continue to allow the state to limit the cities to limit that, essentially. So, as someone working in real estate and specifically in leasing and affordable housing, I have to say that I agree that I know for a fact that most people renting in California are very much cost burdened by their rent. So rent control would be beneficial. Proposition 34 restricts spending of prescription drug revenues by certain healthcare providers. Initiative statute. So a yes supports requiring certain healthcare providers who meet certain criteria to spend 98% of their revenue from their federal discount prescription program on direct patient care and penalizes non-compliance with spending restrictions by revoking healthcare licenses and tax-exempt status. This one I also will dig into a little bit deeper on why it's a little shaky. So Proposition 34 is sponsored by the billionaire landlords who control the California Apartment Association. This initiative is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It has only one purpose: to prevent AIDS Healthcare Foundation from promoting rent control. It claims to protect patients, but its real intent is to stop AHF from putting tenant protections on the ballot. That's both of what I'm saying is from the California Voter Information Guide. Proposition 34 is a grave danger to democracy. It seeks to weaponize the initiative process by allowing powerful interests to target a single organization to punish and shut them up. If passed, this proposition would threaten the ability of organizations to advocate for reproductive rights, renter needs, and environmental protections. The Los Angeles Times even described it as a self-serving ballot initiative that reached a new low. Proposition 35 provides permanent funding for Medi-Cal healthcare services. Initiative statute. So why yes on this would be more than 15 million Californians rely on Medi-Cal for health insurance coverage, including more than 50% of all children in the state and low-income families, seniors, and people with disabilities. But lack of adequate and ongoing funding means Medi-Cal patients must wait months to see primary care doctors, cardiologists, cancer doctors, pediatric specialists, or orthopedics. A no would be, and this is from Gavin Newsom, our ability to have the kind of flexibility that's required at the moment we're living in. I haven't come out publicly against it, but I'm implying a point of view. Perhaps you can read between those many, many lines. Proposition 36 allows felony charges and increases sentences for certain drug and theft crimes. A yes supports making charges for possessing certain drugs and thefts under $950 with two prior theft convictions into felonies. They are currently misdemeanors. Defendants who plead guilty to felony drug possession and complete treatment can have charges dismissed. A no opposes this initiative, maintaining possessing certain drugs and thefts under $950 as misdemeanors. People argue yes because of drugs like fentanyl and what they've done to the community, but also a reason to vote no would be because imagine stealing anything under $950. So basically, if you steal a candy bar from a store, you can get felony charges. I don't know. I mean, I do know what I'm gonna say on that. Measure G. Some of these I'm gonna simplify a little bit more. I am referencing the LAist doc. LAist, I don't know. Okay. So what your vote means, a yes for Measure G means you want the county charter to be changed to expand the number of seats on the board, and you want to make the county CEO an elected position. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors is a government body that oversees about 10 million residents. That means each supervisor now has a constituency of about 2 million people. The supervisors handle many responsibilities, including setting policy for public health, social services, jails, and transportation. If passed, Measure G would increase the number of supervisors who sit on the board from 5 to 9. Supporters say making the board larger would make it more responsive to and representative of LA County by entrusting each supervisor with smaller geographic areas of people. Measure A, homelessness services and affordable housing ordinance. So a yes means you support a 0.5-cent sales tax to fund homelessness and housing efforts in LA County. A no is to not. For many Angelenos, no problem is as overwhelming, sad, and frustrating as homelessness. It's no wonder this issue is top of mind for voters. About 1 in every 5 Americans living without shelter resides in LA County. I'm gonna repeat that. 1 in every 5 Americans living without shelter resides in LA County. More than 75,000 people in LA County do not have a home. According to the latest count, those numbers plateaued this year. But in years past, the region saw huge annual increases, sometimes by more than 10%. Attempts to address these spikes are not new. In fact, more than 69% of LA County voters approved a 4% increase in sales tax to address homelessness. It was called Measure H, and it has raised hundreds of dollars. It's set to expire in 2027. That's where this new measure comes in, to replace the 4% sales tax with 0.5 cent. If approved, Measure A would raise an estimated $1.1 billion per year for housing and homelessness efforts. Measure A only needs support from a simple majority of voters to pass. What people who oppose it say. Taxpayer groups say LA voters haven't gotten their money's worth when it comes to all the sales tax they've paid since Measure H passed in 2017. The county's unhoused population has increased 37% since then. Opponents argue doubling the sales tax would hurt Angelenos already struggling to keep up with inflation and wouldn't guarantee reductions in homelessness. Measure E, Consolidated Fire Protection District of Los Angeles County Emergency Response and Infrastructure Ordinance. Y'all, it's a lot on here. It's a lot on here. Okay. Yes means you support authorizing the parcel tax. No does not support authorizing the tax. This measure is expecting to bring the LA County Fire Department $152 million annually. The goal is to fund more resources for LAFD, who provides obviously fire and medical services in 59 of 88 cities and the unincorporated areas of LA County. It would update outdated 911 communications. It would include a way for paramedics to be able to communicate directly with emergency rooms, GPS mapping to allow firefighters to better coordinate responses, thermal images. Sounds like things that may be needed. Measure DD, independent redistricting commissions for the city of Los Angeles. So a yes for DD means you want the city to replace its existing advisory redistricting commission with an independent body that has the power to adopt district boundaries every 10 years with the involvement or approval of city council. A no means the city would stick with its existing advisory redistricting commission. Council members would continue to determine boundaries. Redistricting happens every 10 years after the federal government completes its census population counts. State and local governments use that data to redraw district lines that reflect current demographics. It would establish new independent redistricting commission. Those who support it, advocates from the group of California Commons say it's imperative for the city to establish a commission that is truly independent and worthy of the public's trust. They point out that the independent redistricting commissions are already in place for the state at the congressional and state legislature districts and in LA County for supervisory districts. Long Beach also uses an independent redistricting commission. People who oppose it, groups that opposed familiar legislation in California have argued that elected officials are in the best position to draw district boundaries. Okay. All right, measure HH. Shall the city charter be amended to require that commission appointees file financial disclosures before they can be confirmed, clarify the controller's auditing authority, expand the city's attorney's subpoena power, authorize temporary appointments to certain general manager positions, establish a process to evaluate the impacts of laws? A yes means you support approving this group of charter amendments on city governance appointments and elections, and a no opposes it. The 6 LA City ballot measures that you're seeing this year are all part of a larger charter reform effort that began in late 2022 after 3 city officials and a labor leader were caught on tape making racist and homophobic remarks while discussing how to amass more power in a city's once-a-decade redistricting process. I remember that, actually. People who support it say these amendments would help clarify rules, remove outdated language, and close ethical loopholes. Actually, nobody has submitted official arguments opposing it. So, interesting. Measure 2, city administration and operations. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3. I got like 5 more left. Like, this is exhausting. Okay, but again, this is why they try to get us. This is why we gotta be on it. And this also is similar to the last one that comes off of that the people that was caught on tape a couple years ago. Nobody, also this is another one, no one has opposed it, and those who support it say it would create more park space for children, better ground transportation to and from the airport, an easier way to fill out city forms and applications remotely, and more food and drink options at city functions and facilities. So, okay. Measure ER. So a yes means you don't want people who do business with the city or who have financial interest in the city's actions to serve on the ethics commission. Elected officials won't be able to appoint any relatives or major campaign donors either. Anyone who violates city ethics rules would face triple the maximum fine of $15,000 per violation. I want to say that one was a little straightforward. Maybe, I don't know. To me, it was. Measure FF. A yes means you want peace officers to transfer their membership, years of service, and retirement contributions from the Los Angeles City Employees Retirement System to the Los Angeles Fire and Police Pension Plan. A no opposes it. No one has opposed this. The history behind it. Changes in laws have allowed people working in jobs like port security and park rangers to become sworn peace officers, but they could not simply switch from the city's civilian pension plan to the sworn officer pension plan. Okay, also, okay, I guess that makes sense. All right, 3 more to go. One of them I think might not apply for everyone. Measure LL, Independent Redistricting Commission for LAUSD. Shall the city charter be amended to establish an independent redistricting commission to redraw Board of Education district lines every 10 years in LAUSD? No one has come out opposing it. Those who support it say, when redistricting is done by the members of the elected, by board members doing their own districts, and by city council members doing their own districts, you end up with people trying to pick their constituency rather than respond to the needs of the constituency they have. So Measure CC, it has to do with Compton College. That one's not one that goes to everybody. So that one you are gonna have to be on your own. And finally, Measure US, Local Public School Safety and Upgrades Measure. So you're being asked, can LAUSD borrow $9 billion to fund repairs, renovations, and constructions? Those who support it, say that it's not just about beautification, it's crucial investment in our kids' health, safety, and future. Those who oppose it say that it's just very expensive and that the district hasn't been forthcoming with a plan for how they will use it. But yeah. Okay. That was very, very long. But we did it. I think we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Yay, Luis Simos. We did it. Okay. I'm saving my work and sending it to myself to be safe. Oh, actually, no, I'm just gonna print it. I'm gonna print and save it as a PDF. Yes. Oh, what? Okay, so that's really helpful to me. Wow. That was so exhausting, but so worth it, so important, so glad we did it. And then also, I just want to shout out my shirt, my good friend, DJ Chubby Swag. I don't know if I made this for the 100th year of Howard Homecoming. I don't know if there's any more, y'all, so you have to ask him. And my earrings are from 7090 per. Make sure y'all go vote. Make sure y'all go vote, please. Please, because I just did a lot of leg work for you, okay? Go vote.